channel. If you're working along with us in the Sweat Smart series, this is the third of our 4 yoga flows. So this is yoga for complete beginners. If you've never done yoga before, please go back to the first video in the yoga series. I've linked it above here. It's a fantastic place to start. And then each week just builds a tiny bit on that first week. So just like we added a few postures last week, we're going to add a few more postures that you're likely to see if you go into a yoga class in person or you take a beginner level yoga class either on my channel or someone else's channel. You will know exactly what they're talking about. Okay, make sure you have your mat, some space around you on your mat, and take your shoes off. So I don't play music in my videos. If you want to use my music, my Spotify is linked in the description below, or if you have your own music you want to listen to, you play your own music. And there is no rule regarding what kind of music one has to listen to during yoga. So you play whatever makes you feel best. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started in a tall, cross-legged seat. So all that means is we're going to cross our legs, crisscross applesauce, lengthen our waist up out of our spine. Go ahead and close your eyes and bring your palms either to your lap, or you can bring them to your knees, your hands to your knees. And then I like to flip my hands up towards the ceiling or towards the sky if you're practicing outside. And just take a nice deep inhale through your nose. Draw that breath down into your belly. And an open mouth exhale, let it go. Relax your shoulders and the back of your neck as you exhale. Inhale, draw that breath down even further into your pelvis and notice the crown of your head lengthening towards the ceiling. And a louder, longer, open mouth exhale. Empty out completely, unfurl your brow if you were tensing your forehead. And one more deepest, fullest inhale yet, drawing in that breath until you feel like you cannot bring in another sip and holding it there. And then taking the loudest, longest, open mouth exhale, let go of anything, any tension that you've been holding on to. Go ahead and seal your lips closed. And we're going to continue to take those same deep filling inhales through the nose and powerful exhales, but this time the exhales are going to come through the nose. So lips stayed sealed the entire time. Slight constriction in the back of the throat to create an audible sound with the exhale. And this is our Ujjayi breath, and it's what we're going to focus on throughout our practice. So yes, we will be doing our yoga postures, our asanas, but the breath is the most important part of the practice. On an inhale, go ahead and blink your eyes open, bring your hands overhead, and as you exhale, bring your left hand down to the mat, maybe a bend in the elbow. Reach the right fingertips over towards the left. Draw the right thumb back so that your chest lifts towards the sky. Inhale, come back up through center, and exhale. Right palm finds the mat. Find a bend in the elbow. Keep the left hip, left bun glued to the mat as you reach the left fingertips over towards the right. Inhale back through center. This time gentle twist. Exhale, right palm to the left knee. Left fingertips to the mat or the floor behind you as you gaze towards the left, or back over that left shoulder if it's comfortable for you and you don't feel any pinching in your low back. Inhale, fingertips back up overhead, and exhale, left palm to the right knee. Broaden through your collarbones, gaze towards the right, or back over that right shoulder. Inhale, fingertips back overhead, and as we exhale, we're going to come into our tabletop pose, stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Inhale, cow pose, lift your gaze, spread your collarbones wide, lift your tailbone. And exhale, cat pose, press the mat away from you, hollow your belly, and draw your tailbone down towards the mat. Let's flow. Inhale, cow. Imagine that you're pulling your palms back towards your knees as your belly melts towards the mat. And exhale, cat. Press your shins into the mat as you lift that spot between your shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Let's flow 3 more times, bringing our attention to our tailbone. Inhale, cow pose. Tailbone lifts. Gaze lifts. And exhale, cat pose. Tailbone tucks. Gaze shifts back between your legs or up towards your belly button. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. All right, coming back into a neutral tabletop, we're going to add on here with a bird dog. Extend your right arm like you're going to shake someone's hand and your left leg straight back behind you. Squeeze your left glute, flex the toes back towards the knee, hold, and then bring the hand and the knee back to the mat. Exhale. Inhale, switch it out. Left arm reaches out, thumb faces up, bicep in line with the ear. Your gaze is down beyond the front of your mat, and the back of that right leg is nice and active, as is the core. And let's switch it out. Inhale, find length and stability, and exhale, palm and knee back to the mat. Inhale, switch it out. Exhale, palm and knee back to the mat. Let's do one more each side. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. All right, go ahead and walk your knees out towards the wide edges of the mat. Sit your hips back onto your heels, and we're going to come into a child's pose for just a moment, giving our shoulders a little bit of a break from our cat-cow and our bird dog. If it feels good, you can kind of rock your forehead side to side here. A nice little massage for that third eye center. And then when you're ready, go ahead and come back up to your tabletop pose. Tuck your toes under, walk your palms out about a palm's print distance from where they were. Sit your hips back towards your heels, and as you tuck your toes under, lift your knees, downward facing dog on your exhale. And I like to start in my dog with a nice deep bend in my knees, creating a lot of length from my fingertips to my tailbone. And then speaking of the tailbone, lift it up towards the spot where the wall and the ceiling meet behind you. And then begin to straighten into your legs, maybe taking some pedals, walking the dog, bending one knee as you straighten the other leg, bringing the heel towards the mat. And then imagine that you're pressing that mat forward and away from you. Finding some steadiness in your dog, equal weight between the hands and the feet, knees bent as much as needed to relieve the low back. On an inhale, gaze forward, and as you exhale, step your feet behind your hands, coming into a forward fold. Maybe you bring opposite pinky to the crook of the opposite elbow, ragdoll, being exactly what that sounds like, a ragdoll from the waist up. Letting any tension that might have joined you on the mat roll right off your shoulders and off the mat here. These forward folds or inversions are really good for us. They bring fresh blood to the brain, and sometimes when we bring ourselves back upright, we gain a new perspective on things. On an exhale, bring the fingertips to the mat. Inhale, roll all the way up to stand, one vertebra at a time. Crown of the head arrives last. Circle, sweep the arms overhead, tall mountain. Strong in the legs, pressing all 4 corners of the feet into the mat. Exhale, let's create a W with the arms, bringing the elbows down into the side body, opening up the chest. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Hinge at your hips. Drape your belly over your thighs, crown of the head towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Press your palms into your shins. Your hips draw back, your chest lengthens forward like you're peeking out over a cliff. Exhale, bring the palms to the mat. Step the right toes back, step the left toes back. And from your knees or from your toes, shift forward and with control, slowly lower all the way down
to the mat. The entire front side body arrives at the same time. Untuck the toes. Inhale, cobra pose. Lift your chest, press the tops of your feet, tops of your legs into the mat. Inhale to lower, and then exhale from your knees or from your toes, high plank, downward facing dog. Let's flow that breath to movement. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step your feet behind your hands, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, strong core, flat back. Exhale, fold, and inhale, rise, tall mountain. Exhale, Anuvattasana, cactus the elbows down into the side body. Inhale, tall mountain, fingertips reach towards the ceiling. And exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step your feet back, high plank, top of a push-up. Press the mat away from you, loop your shoulders down and back away from your ears. Firm up the legs by squeezing the quadriceps, squeezing the buns, and pressing through the heels towards the wall behind you. As you look out beyond the horizon of your mat, imagine pulling your hands back towards your toes. And exhale, slowly lower. You can come down to your knees. And inhale, cobra pose. Loop your elbows in towards one another like little cricket wings. Spread the collarbones even wider. And on your next exhale, press all the way up to high plank and downward facing dog. One more time in our sun salutation A, Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, gaze forward, and exhale, step your feet behind your hands, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, dive it forward, and inhale, rise, Tadasana, mountain pose. Strong in the legs, fingertips reach. Exhale, cactus the elbows down into the side body, open up the chest. Inhale, tall mountain, and exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant your palms. Slowly lower with control all the way down towards your chest and your belly. Inhale, cobra pose. This time bring your fingertips wide, elbows up towards the ceiling, and then lift your chest. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Exhale, downward facing dog from your toes or from your knees. All right, moving on to our sun salutation B. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold, feet behind the hands. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, snuggle those shoulder blades in towards one another and towards your imaginary back pockets. Exhale, fold, and inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose, sitting down into that imaginary chair. Bring your hands to your hips to start. Gaze down and make sure you can see your toes, that your knees aren't way out over your toes. Press your shins back, and if you need to come up a little bit higher, maybe it's a higher chair like a bar stool in order to see your toes, that's fine. Slight tuck under the tailbone. Notice these obliques, these side support muscles here turn on, and then the low belly kind of hollows and scoops. Fingertips out at shoulder height, pinkies in, thumbs out, or fingertips reaching towards the ceiling. One more inhale, lengthen your waist up and out of your hips, and exhale, forward fold, release. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, plant your palms, step back, high plank, flow through your vinyasa, or straight back to downward facing dog. Inhale is your cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, we're going to step the right foot between the hands, spin the left heel flat, the right heel and the left heel are on the same line. Come up, warrior one. Gaze up towards your fingertips, maybe you bring the palms to touch. Exhale, palms find the mat, step the right foot back, come onto the left toes, slowly lower down to your belly. And inhale, cobra pose. And exhale, knees or toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps between the hands. Exhale, spin the right foot flat. And inhale, come up, warrior one. Think about little headlights on the fronts of the hips. Bring the left hip down and back, and the right hip up and forward. Exhale, windmill the palms, step the left toes back, come onto the right toes, and then from your knees or from your toes, with control, lower all the way to the belly. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. All right, so we're gonna take out the other two Sun B flows for time's sake here. If you wanna add that in 2 more times, you can pause the video, do it twice, and then press play. We're going to move on with some standing postures that I want to introduce. So on an inhale, gaze forward, and exhale, step your feet behind your hands, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, and inhale, rise up, Tadasana, mountain pose. All right, we're gonna come into tree pose, so grounding the right leg, bring your palms to heart center, and you're gonna bring the sole of the left foot to the inner right shin or to the inner right thigh. And then tuck your tailbone under, peel that left knee open, and press the right thigh into the foot and the foot into the thigh. Find your focus point, your drishti. It's something that's not moving out in front of you that you can almost look through. And if you need the wall for support, all you're gonna do is bring your hand to the wall. So tree pose is a really nice hip opener in addition to being a balancing posture. And if you wanna grow your tree, go ahead and grow your tree. Fingertips extend up towards the ceiling. Keeping your focus on that drishti. And then bring your hands to heart center, step the left foot next to the right. Go ahead and give a little shake into that right leg. Ground the right foot, and we're gonna take a big step back with the left, coming into warrior two. So 90-degree bend in the front right knee. The right knee is not caving in, so give a press into the pinky edge of that foot. And then if there's a line from your right heel to your left arch, it's like the line is cutting the arch of the left foot in half, that heel to arch intersection. Go ahead and extend your fingertips out. Snuggle your shoulder blades down and towards one another as you gaze gently over those right fingertips. On an inhale, flip the right palm, paint the sky, reverse warrior or peaceful warrior as it's sometimes called. And exhale, extended side angle. So the legs stay exactly the same. We use these muscles, the obliques, to bring the right elbow to the inside of the right knee. And we reach the left fingertips up towards the ceiling. And as we reach those left fingertips up towards the ceiling, I want you to think about growing out of the side body. So we're not dumping down, we're staying nice and lifted. And then on an inhale, go ahead and come back up to warrior two and straighten the front leg, coming into reverse triangle pose. So you can walk those left fingertips down the left knee, reach the right fingertips up towards the ceiling, and now we're gonna come into triangle pose, which is called Trikonasana. So legs stay the same, lengthen the side body just like extended side angle. Bring the right hand to the right shin, and then left fingertips come up towards the ceiling. I have a bend, a micro bend or a deep bend in that front knee, and I'm hugging my buns under. So this left hand is drawing back, my chest is spiraling up towards the ceiling. Ground through the feet, bend into the right knee, back into warrior two, and then on an exhale, windmill the palms, pivot onto the back left toes, step the right toes back to meet the left, inhale, shift forward, and from your knees or toes, slowly lower down to your belly, untuck the toes, inhale, cobra pose, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze forward, and exhale, step your feet behind your hands, forward fold. Inhale, inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, and inhale, rise up, Tadasana, mountain pose. Bring the hands to heart center. This is called Anjali Mudra. And I'm actually gonna face you for this tree pose. So this time we're grounding through the left leg. You're gonna stay facing the front of your mat. I'm just moving for demonstration purposes. Squeeze powerfully through this left leg. So squeeze the quadricep, hug the outer bun in, and then bring the sole of the right foot to the shin or to the inner thigh. And then press the foot into the inner thigh and the inner thigh back into the foot as you open this right knee, kind of like a door, as the tailbone draws down. Find your drishti, that focus point, and then if you'd like, grow your tree. And know that if you need to hold on to a chair, it's still tree pose. We're just focusing on our breath here, and we're having some fun making the shapes. And you know, trees have stakes in them to help them when they first start to grow, so you know what, embrace it. And then go ahead and bring the right foot down. Shake the left leg out. Bring the blood back to that leg. And then ground the left foot and take a big step back with the right coming in to warrior two. Did you notice how I lost my balance? It happens all the time to those of us who are humans. It's okay. 90-degree bend, heel to arch alignment, shoulders stacked directly over the hips, meaning I'm not leaning forward into the future, I'm not looking back into the past, staying right here in the present. Nice deep inhale, exhale as you extend the arms, snuggle the shoulder blades down in towards one another, and on your inhale, think about lengthening your fingertips as far away from one another as you can, while still maintaining that engagement of the shoulders. Look out gently over the left fingertips. Inhale, flip the palm, peaceful warrior. Walk the right fingertips down the right leg, finding a lot of length in the left side body here. Exhale, extended side angle. Lengthen forward, bring the left elbow to the inside of the left knee, and reach the right fingertips up to the sky. So I'm not dumping down here, I'm lifting. My feet are grounded firmly into the mat, and everything else is pulling up away from the mat. On an inhale, we're going to find that reverse triangle. So straighten the left leg. Left fingertips reach up towards the ceiling. Right fingertips gently rest on the right leg. And exhale, triangle pose. Lengthening as far forward, creating length along the left side body and the right as the crown of the head extends towards the front of your mat. Right fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then think about drawing your tailbone towards the right heel behind you. So I'm feeling a really nice opening in the back, in the hip on the left and on the right. Gaze up towards those right fingertips. Maybe pull them back just a little bit to open up your chest. And then inhale, come back up to warrior two. And exhale, windmill the palms to frame the front right foot. Pivot onto the right toes. Step the left toes back. And let's flow through our last vinyasa here. So from your knees or from your toes. Use your exhale breath to bring you all the way down to the mat. And inhale to our final cobra pose. Exhale, lower. And then press all the way up and back to our final downward facing dog. Taking any pedals or anything that feels good to you here in this practice and noticing how different you feel from the first downward facing dog of this class and from the first downward facing dog you took in your first yoga class. Hopefully there's a lot more space in your body and a lot more space in your mind and a lot less criticism in your mind. Go ahead and walk yourself through to a seat. Sit up nice and straight and tall here with your knees bent. Bring your hands behind your thighs. We're going to come into boat pose. So balancing on our sits bones, chest is lifting up towards the ceiling. And then you can lift one foot and then lift the other. And then maybe you extend those arms reaching towards your toes. And maybe your whole body's shaking like mine is. Fantastic. It means you're working. It means those muscles are getting some work. And while those muscles are working, bring your focus back to your breath. Using that breath to guide you through the discomfort that you might be experiencing with the muscles shaking. And then go ahead and bring the feet down to the mat. Extend the fingertips out in front of you. Create that C shape in your spine as you slowly curl onto your back. Walk your heels in towards your hips and create that figure 4 with your right leg, crossing your right ankle in the front of your left knee, and then threading the needle, bringing the hands together behind the left thigh, relaxing your shoulders onto the mat, drawing that left knee in with your hands, and then using your muscles to guide the right knee open towards the top right corner of the mat. And then bring the left foot down to the mat, uncross the right, and we'll switch it out. Left ankle crosses at the front of the right leg, peel the right foot from the mat, interlace the fingers behind the right leg, begin to draw the right knee in towards your chest as you press the left knee open. So you should be feeling a really nice opening in this outer left hip area right here. This is a great stretch for all of us who sit a lot. Our hips tend to get tight, so this is a great hip stretch. And then go ahead and release the feet down to the mat. Cactus your arms out like goalposts or a cactus. And we're gonna look towards the right as the knees fall towards the left. So creating a stretch in the low back and down the side body. On the right, you can close your eyes if it feels good and imagine that you're looking out towards your right hand or up towards the ceiling. And on your next exhale, come back through center, reset, maybe a little rock side to side to reset your spine. And the gaze is gonna come out towards the left as the knees come over towards the right. And we're not wrenching the low back here. It's called gentle twist for a reason. We want to be able to stay with that slow, steady ujjayi breath. And if at any time you feel like your breath becomes short and choppy, that's just your body's way of saying, uh-oh, I've taken this a little bit too far. I need to relax it. I need to pull back a little bit. Because when the breath is short and choppy, it signals to the body to tense up. But when the breath is smooth and relaxed, our muscles know to relax. Okay, we're safe. This is good. And that's where we want to be in our yoga practice. Go ahead and bring your knees back through center. We're going to come into a dead bug pose, or happy baby as it's sometimes called. Reach for the outer edges of your feet. Use your knees to press, or your elbows to press your knees open. And then rock side to side in that happy baby pose. And when you're ready, hug your knees into your chest, curl yourself into a tight, tiny little ball, wrapping opposite palm to opposite elbow. Take the deepest, fullest inhale you've taken today, and the loudest, longest open mouth exhale as you surrender into Shavasana, which is corpse pose. And that's exactly how we are supposed to be in Shavasana. We are supposed to be heavy, we are supposed to take up space. And we are just supposed to be. Returning to a natural rhythm of breath now that our body has moved through this meditation. Our yoga practice is a meditation linking breath to movement. And Shavasana is where I'm going to leave you. So you can stay here as long as you have time for. Friends, thank you so much for practicing with me. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you joining me. I hope you enjoyed this class. I'd love to hear in the comments below what you thought. Namaste.